Alright, we're trying this again. I had to reset my router right as I was getting started. Alright. Alright. Excuse me. My cough has mostly gone away. Allergies are kicking on a little bit tonight. All right. My goodness. All right, let's get to work. So I've got this cork in this bottle, or I gotta get it out. There are. Jim Jeremy thought he was going crazy. Phones you were live when you got on. It was a lie. I had to reset my router. Let's get started. How are you doing, Jeep and Jamber? All right. So last night we were kind of working on this sphere here, but the end of it is coming together really ugly. I don't like that at all. So we're gonna figure that out. I dumped out my junk jar, my jar of random leftover rings from different projects, and found a bunch of rings I could use for something, so I threw them together today. Kind of add them to my stock of just random things. Right, like this, and these two were based off my logo. This is a little stainless and niobium cross. And these were beads. They came out really big. But they're beads. They're chainmail beads. They work. So I didn't make all those today, but you were going to hop on last night, but it was Revenge of the Faucet. The drain was seized on, so you had to come back with another tool to cut the bolt and snap it. That's no fun. So I've got... Oh, did I just get it? Oh my gosh, come on. Come on. Come out. I haven't been able to get enough leverage on this to tear it apart. It's a cork stuck in a bottle. And my pliers are just not the right size to get in there. Are these the smallest pliers I have? These are the smallest pliers I have in reach. I've got most of it out. It was a cute little bottle full of rings. But then my son ripped the... There we go. Sweet. I'm glad that didn't take long. I've got all the rings over here that were in this bottle. And my son tore off the top of the cork. Because of course he did. Because he's my son. And that's what he does. So move those out of the way. You're doing good. How about myself? I'm doing all right. A little allergies kicking in tonight for some reason. All right. Ron17377 shared the stream. Thank you, Ron. The more we share the stream, the more we spread the good word of the Church of Chainmail, and the more people that like, follow, share, especially those that follow, the sooner we'll get to 10,000 and we can use all my studio equipment here to make a much better stream on TikTok. What am I doing? I'm figuring out what chainmail item I'm going to make. Just hanging out. 2 days ago, the audio on Twitch was weird. I had a microphone on my camera picking up because I had to uninstall the source and reinstall it. Alright, so first up, right, like the top of this sphere that we're working on is garbage. It looks like crap. I don't like it. And not all of the rings fit into it. Right? So first thing we got to do is figure that out. Do we just kind of... I think I did one of these before and I just kind of finagled it and made it work. But Frosty3006, how are you doing tonight? I'm going to try and make it work all with the same ring size. Come on. And if they don't lay flat, then we'll figure out something else. Jeez Louise. If they don't lay flat and look nice, we'll figure out something else. But I do want to use up... I cannot get a grip. Come on. There we go. It's so tight, it doesn't want to grip the ring. And these pliers are really old and the teeth are really dull. John Kia 555 shared the live. Thank you so much. We are spreading the good word of the Church of Chainmail. I am the Bishop of Bending, the Archduke of the Abbot of Aspect Ratios, or the Abbot of Anodizing. I don't know. My name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, and we're using up all the rings in my basement to make stuff. We're going to see if we can make this look kind of nice. But right now we're making a sphere. It kind of looks like a basket. I can only half see what I'm doing here. Doesn't want to go. This is really tight with really an obnoxious ring size. Someone was complaining that, well, they stated that they had made some chainmail until it made their hands hurt, and this 16 gauge 1/4 inch will definitely make your hands hurt, if you know what I mean. Open your other eye. Hey, Sturm, how you doing? No, don't. Someone get that man more rings stat. I do need more rings, but I've got all I can handle really right now. There we go. Come on. Nope, don't overlap that ring. Oh, this is going to be impossible. Come on. Did I do it? That's done. So now the problem still is, I got those rings to kind of lay down, but I need to put 3 more rings on here, and it is not cooperating. Some people need stronger hands or use Whimper metal gauges. This is Mike, by the way. How you doing, Mike? If you were hanging out last night, I was talking about changing ring sizes in order to make all of this fit, and I think that that's what we're going to get stuck doing. I've got some 18 gauge 1/4 inch here. So, Wally, how you doing? Mike, how's your cube coming along? And now this ring is ultra stuck. Mike's got a cube going on. It's a billion rings. A billion ring jelly cube. Kind of looks like this, but much, much bigger. All right. And actually, Wally, I need to order some more rings from you. I will at some point. I was in the middle of town on a drive back from KC last night. Didn't even look at your cell during that. Yeah. Kansas City, huh? Been a while since I've been in that part of the world. Yeah, it's so tight I can't even get a grip on this. It's ridiculous. Also, these pliers are really bulky and difficult to grip anything with when it's real tight like this. So, it's not just the ring size and the weave that is causing me frustration. But that is mostly it. Alright. Good friend, Bird and Teal right now. Oh, nice. Birthday sales coming. Sweet. Oh my goodness. Come on, just open a little more. Oh, there we go. Of course, it moves to a place I can't get to. There we go. So you're in the middle of a 10-hour drive. Where did you go? You went to Kansas City and then you were going home? If I'm reading that comment correctly. I think I had it backwards the first time there. Working on pre-opening and closing layer 4 rings. Oof. More power to you, man. I'm very excited to see that project as it develops. And then I'm going to get rich and I'm going to buy it from you. That's my goal. Alright. So I'm going to remove... I've taken the queen ring out. That's the ring at the center and the top. I've taken that out. I need to remove a couple other rings here. I'm going to figure out which ones. Went to Kansas City for a friend's wedding. Spent the weekend there and stayed with family. Nice. On TikTok, you might need to adjust your view a little. The work is hanging out around your username. Let me see here. Where is my username on TikTok? Let me know if that's better. Well, happy wedding to your friends, Mike. I think all my friends are married, so I don't have to go to any more weddings until my son is getting married. Like all my friends are married, and the other half my friends are married, long time. The other half are divorced, and if I've already been to their wedding once, I'm not going again. Username's top left. Let's see here. That should work. Maybe. I don't know. Alright. So what do we got? I love it when your pliers slip and you have to go back and try and figure out where you were working from. Especially on when working with really small rings. Speeches was 17 years in the making. Speeches had dust blown off them before being read. That's funny. Great. Raminger says, great work, dude. How about a chainmail? Yes. Tilt it towards me a bit, and I think you'll be good. I'm going to take your word for it. Thank you for all your help. Remingor, how you doing tonight? Where are we at here? We're taking this apart a little bit, and we're going to try a different ring size and get it back together. Just didn't have quite enough room for it to work. Doing good, getting late here. How did this hobby start? This hobby started 27 years ago when I saw my uncle making it on, he and I were palling around, and we stopped at one of his friend's house to check on them or something, and while we were waiting, he pulled out some projects he was working on. And I saw what he was doing, and I was like, holy cow. I went home and immediately started using some lineman's wire. And I took some lineman's wire, and I took these look a little small for 18 gauge 1/4 inch. These might be, all right. I took some lineman's wire, a pair of vice grips, and a piece of rebar, and I wrapped my rings around the rebar and then cut them using some snips that my grandpa gave me, and I made myself my first piece of chainmail. I have no idea where it's at now, but let me grab some rings real quick. Some rings that I know are the exact size of. I don't have that size of rings written down on that bag. And then I made my first project. Here, I did a rabbit fur lined galvanized steel bikini for a friend in high school, and that was not a good project. Then I made a shirt, and then I deployed and found the Ring Lord, and I ordered a bunch of rings from them, and that's kind of been doing it for quite a while. Started with 14 gauge gal fence wire, but the interest had started as a result of AD&D or ADD. So at this point now, I've been doing this for 27 years, and I'm just making random stuff using up rings that I've had for years in my basement, that I bought and didn't have projects for. And it helps me get work done. I've got this inlay here that I hadn't worked on in quite a while, and that finally has progressed a little bit. So but yeah, the first piece I ever made was it had to have been 14 gauge lineman's wire that I cut with some really terrible snips. So it took me a lot of work just to cut the initial crappy rings out. Alright, where am I going here? Oh, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Nice. I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. But I could definitely see... Well, that's not true. I know enough that I could understand exactly how someone who was playing it would want to learn how to make chainmail. That's how much I know. Dungeons and Dragons is one of those things where I'm the type of person that you would think would be interested in learning how to play. But I have trauma from years of tabletop games with my family, and I really can't stand sitting down and sitting down and playing games. It's really hard, especially because, my kid loves some of that stuff, and I try for him. We play Catan, and he learned what is it called? It's not called Minions. It's some like kids style Dungeons and Dragons game. It begins with an M, I think. But his uncle, who plays Dungeons and Dragons, taught him that game. So he has fun. But I'm not one for tabletop games. You would think I would be. But every time I've tried, I've just... No, not for me. First tabletop game I played was Warhammer with some friends from high school, and they had all the books, and before it was Warhammer 40K. So they had all the figurines and the books and a tabletop to play on, and they would all get really into it. And I was like, I roll the dice, and then something happens. So I was not very good. But, we all hung out and had a good time. Yeah, so in theory, going from 16 gauge to 18 gauge quarter-inch ring should still allow me to use a 16 gauge 5/16 rings as the queen ring, I think. That's going to pull it in pretty tight, or it should. Now I'm wondering, that looks really loose. Let's see if 1/4-inch ring will work. There's all kinds of lack of rigidity in this now. So we may end up filling it with something. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to fill this with some glow-in-the-dark airsoft BBs that I have. But that's okay. Wow, how did I wrap that all around? We still have a whole other side to do, so. Alright. I don't like the fact that I had to switch gauges for the rings, but it uses up some rings, whatever. If I end up with a few leftover 16 gauge 1/4-inch rings, that's fine. What I didn't want to do was run out of that particular ring size. Come on. Alright. These Zurons need longer handles. Alright, how do we do? Yeah, okay. So, if you look there, you can see it depresses into the sphere, right? So we'll fill out this other side, and then that's going to have to get laid down a little bit somehow. How are we going to do that? Alright, I'm not going to worry about it right now. What I am going to worry about is doing this other side here. Alright. Rocco, thank you for the follow. If you're watching and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's amazing, I should learn how to do that, you totally should. And if you go to the link tree in my bio, there's the Mailworks app you can download that has a ton of resources listed for people interested in learning about chainmail. It's got things like suppliers, tutorials, groups and forums. What else does it have? I don't remember. Some tools. So aspect ratio calculator. I need to upgrade that. I tried to use it the other day and I had a conversion issue. I was like, wait a minute. This is not... Want to make it so that you can use any measurement, millimeters, wire gauge, or fractions, whatever. And just plug the numbers in. So come on. Yeah, we're gonna have plenty leftover 16 gauge 1/4-inch rings. One, two, Okay. Let's see. My glow in the dark airsoft babies should be easy to find because we're gonna be. This shouldn't take but a minute to close up. And then we'll have to pick out another project to work on. So here I've got another kind of jelly cube. And the ring size matches a band I made for a hat I bought at the Renaissance Festival. But the band is very heavy. It looks good, but it's all steel and it sits on the top of your head. It's not uncomfortable, but it's like my motorcycle vest. My motorcycle vest is wrapped all in chainmail, and it looks amazing. But it gets very heavy after several hours. So I'm debating, do I take the hat band off? And this is the jelly cube. I don't know what else to do with these rings. They're machine cut, square wire rings. I don't know what to do with them. So I think if I take the hat band off, I'll just add it to this cube here. And it's not even a very good cube, but it kind of works. Real good cubes have just the perfect ring size. And that gives them that real jelly aspect to them. They move around real good. But I'm just like, I made the hat band and I don't want to tear it apart, but also I want to be able to wear the hat. Right now it's not really wearable. I also want to make it into a tricorn. So I've got plenty of leather supplies over there on one of these tables. And I can put some snaps on the brim and attach it to the center of the hat. And I know what you're thinking. Why don't you just go to the Renaissance Festival and buy a tricorn? Which would, make more sense. But there's always something fun about customizing your own stuff. So I got speaking of customize. Wow, that just, what happened there? Speaking of customizing your own stuff, I've got to remember to get the saddlebags off the bike and get the Harley covered up in the garage for the winter. I was going to go for another ride today, but it was just too windy. Scott Conrad, Share the Live. Thank you for the share. So if I can get the saddlebags down here and get the tops of the saddlebags wrapped by springtime next year and get a bib for the gas tank done, I will be very happy. And then I still got to talk to some people in the know about hydro dipping versus vinyl wrap, because I want to wrap or hydro dip the front and rear fender and the gas tank in a chainmail pattern, but we'll see how that goes. I got to figure out which one's best for long term. Because I've just heard things, right? Like vinyl can't be in the sunlight like at all, and it doesn't last as long as you would think it would. And then some people say that, oh, it lasts just fine. And I have no idea. Yeah, do a little custom work on the bike. Do a little custom work on my hat. Stuff is clearing up, right, in my workspace. So it's very convenient. It gives me more room to work with. So that's nice. Alright, so I am trying to clean up this end and make it lay a little flatter. It's so tight, and the rings, they're not the perfect size, so they're kind of getting in each other's way. And if you just wrap some of them through another ring, it looks a little nicer. I want to do that before I try and fill it with BBs. So less work we have to do once it has BBs in it, I think, or once we are trying to fill it with BBs, the better. All right. That looks much better. I don't know if you can see it, but it lays a little nicer. It's not perfect. All right, let's find some BBs. Let's see here. So these BBs glow in the dark. They're not great at that, though. Leslie Pena, 190, share the live. Thank you. I used these in some juggling balls. And they work well for filling out something. Right? Come on. But they don't really, they only kind of glow in the dark. Like, you really gotta shine them with some UV and then look at them like immediately. And so they don't shine for too long or too bright. Which, I suppose if you're being shot out of an airsoft gun at how many feet per second does an airsoft gun fire, right? I have no idea. Oh, this is what I'm worried about. I've overfilled it. Come on. We'll get this wrapped up a little bit and then try and add some more BBs to it. Let's see here. I want to try and do this as smoothly as possible because I know that if these pliers slip, these BBs are just going to go flying. Okay. All right, come on. Now, if I were a perfectionist, I'd insist on, using all the right ring sizes to get this perfect, but we're literally just using up rings. I have projects that I have gone through the process of figuring out what the perfect ring size is, and that's a giant pain in the butt, and it's expensive if you don't make your own rings. See how many additional BBs we can stuff in here. I'd like this to be pretty tight. Come on, don't run away. Ah, I lost that one. Oh, I found it. Okay. Now, you can totally... Alright, I did lose one. Make hacky sacks. And I've never made a chainmail hacky sack. I suppose I should do that one day. That feels pretty full. Got BBs popping out everywhere. Couple more rings, and then make sure it looks pretty like the other side. And we'll be golden. This is like the third ball or sphere I've made recently while using up rings. I have one. It's... Do I have it nearby? Yeah, it's right here. So this is one that I made. It's empty, right? But this is one of the nicer ones that I've made. This one's really cool. So I'm going to get some 3 Series stainless steel so that it doesn't rust, and then fill it once I have that. So it felt a little loose before I closed that last ring on the queen ring, but now that everything's on there, it feels nice and snug. And so even though it didn't end up holding its shape on its own, I'm okay with that because filling with BBs, it worked out. It'll be something to throw at my kid. I mean, you're all for chainmail hacky sacks? Did I read that already? I've never made one. I've seen them made. I should make some. It's one of those things where it's like, if I made one, I'd want to make, 20 of them to sell. And I've just never sat down and took the time to hammer that out. Well, I probably should. I don't play hacky sack. I'm about as coordinated as, what's a good metaphor? I'm as coordinated as a drunk monkey trying to juggle. I think that'll do it. That's snug. That's tight. You've seen some anodized aluminum rubber rings? Yeah. Some hacky sacks made of anodized and rubber rings. So we got these to mostly lay flat. They're a little squirrely, but that's alright. This side's looking pretty good too. And it's filled with BBs and it's tight. It works. That's one down. So how many 16-gauge quarter-inch rings did we end up with? Don't have many left over. That's not the right ring size. So Gonna weave these together real quick and throw it in the junk jar. And consider this ring size finished. I don't really think I can make anything else out of it at this point. You can play hacky sack solo alright, but the addition of people usually makes it harder for you. Yeah. Like I said, about as coordinated as a drunk monkey trying to juggle. And that's not to say that if I didn't practice I wouldn't get better, but the likelihood of me practicing is pretty slim. Man, all this talking makes my throat dry. So, what's next? Let's see here. Let me clear some of this stuff off here. Alright, we've got in this corner 18 gauge 3/16. We're just using this up. I want to put some of these on my hat, so I usually put like 10 or 15 of them on around the corner of my hats. We've got these rings match this jelly cube. And it's, as you know, as you can see, it's not much of a cube. And I don't have enough rings to add another 3 sides to expand this out, really. Let me go get my hat. Hang on a sec. Alright. There's my hat with my super cool steampunk goggles on it. And that's the band that I am tempted to remove. So let's see here. Put this on. Like, it fits nice and everything. Let me... Right? But what if I did this? And then you could almost not see the band. And then I could take all these rings on the band and add them to this cube. Right? Did I finish the inlay? I'm just taking a break from it. I've got another 16,000 rings in that inlay, so it's going to be a while. Can you see this on TikTok? Sorry, I realized that angle kind of sucked. This is the band I'm referencing. I don't know what to do with it. I really just want to leave it. Oh, that's not true. I don't want to deal with it. right? That's the reality. I don't want to deal with it. I want it to just work, and it doesn't. All right, let me readjust my camera. Higher for TikTok. All right. And these are 16 gauge 1/4 inch square wire rings and 16 gauge 5/16 square wire rings. Not much you can make out of that small of an amount of rings. But if you combine them, maybe you could make something. What are these? These are machine cut 20 gauge 1/8 stainless steel rings. Machine cut or saw cut? These might be saw cut. I know we can do these. I really hope I'm looking at these correctly. Sorry, I gotta get a close-up look, and my eyesight's failing me. So this is the captive inverted round necklace that I made, and I've been wanting to make it longer because it doesn't quite drape the way I would want it to. So let's see if we can lengthen this. These look like the right ring sizes. They should work, right? Hey babe, how you doing? Alright. I have my hat on, and the brim is preventing me from being able to use the overhead light. So one of the things that concerns me is that I'm 90% certain that this the rings I'm adding are slightly different ring size than the ones that are already on the necklace. So this might not work. Ooh, you know what would be good? A Turkish round mail. Twitch can't see what I'm working on? Is my head in the way? Oh yeah, because I have the camera on. There we go. This is my captive inverted round necklace. There's a leather cord going through the center. I'll probably tear that out and then Renee, thank you for the share. And I need to clean this mat. Oh, you know what? I wonder. Speaking of Turkish round, I wonder if we can make a little thing of Turkish round out of these two ring sizes. The 16 gauge 1/4 inch and the 16 gauge 5/16 stainless, or the square wire. But yeah, I'll get the leather cord out. I have more leather cord. Throw this in the tumbler. Get it nice and cleaned up. And then try and find a pendant for it. I don't need anything in particular. Well, now you want Turkish Delight. I read a whole excerpt on Narnia the other day and how chaotic it was and why it was completely understandable that J.R.R. Tolkien hated the Chronicles of Narnia after he spent, you know, all that world building in Middle-earth. Make a neck shade for your hat out of chainmail. What's a neck shade? Assuming something that shades your neck. Right? Like, obviously. Sorry, I'm slow. Alright, these rings are working out. That's good. My pile of jewelry that I need to adjust to make it fit the way I want is growing smaller. Turkish Delight is better than the whole of Middle-earth. I don't think so. That's crazy talk. Jeep and Jammer can't send me a picture on here. Okay. No, you can't, but you can send a link to a picture, and I can follow it to see what you're talking about. And if I was a skilled streamer, I would know how to screen share, and I would go and I would look up what Jeep and Jammer was talking about, and I'd share it with the audience. But because I'm technologically deficient, I only know that screen sharing exists because I've seen other people do it, not because I know how to do it. Alright, I'm so glad this worked out. I didn't know I had these rings. I found them today. Tolkien hated the Chronicles of Narnia because of the chaotic way that the world of Narnia operates. For example, Santa Claus running around giving children deadly weapons. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that this excerpt talked about. Probably was. It wasn't an excerpt. It was more like a Reddit thread. What is top left? Where are we looking? Top. Your top left. My top left. The top left object. I've got a M&M case. It's a little... This thing? Infinite Fractal. How you doing? So this one, this is also a ball-shaped object, but it's not filled. I'm going to put stainless steel. This we just finished tonight. I filled it up with glow-in-the-dark BBs. And I'd show you the glow-in-the-dark BBs, but they're kind of crap. So you've got a interwoven 4-in-1 band, and the ends connected with some expanding, contracting 4-in-1 here. So we just finished that up on stream a little bit ago. We started it last night, and then if you can notice the two different ring sizes here, the 16 gauge 1/4 inch and 18 gauge 1/4 inch. Excuse me. And that is, we had to take out a bunch of the 16 gauge 1/4 inch and use the 18 gauge because it was too tight with the 16 gauge 1/4 inch. So that is so wicked. It's like a chainmail hacky sack. This is more like a stone. I was finishing this up, and I'm quite impressed with how solid this is. But yeah, no, like this, either one, whichever, you fill it up 2/3 of the way, and you got yourself a hacky sack. We were just talking about those. There's different, what do you call them? Different weaves, or not different weaves, different patterns for hacky sacks. M&M's Minis came in those M&M containers. Hooray for a 16-year-old stocking stuffer. Yes. Yep, that's a 16-year-old stocking stuffer that I use to carry rings around in. Very cool, Source. Thank you. You can't send it? Okay. No, I didn't get I may have some settings on Twitch somewhere where I can't get a link through the chat. I probably have that set up. I probably should undo that. Nobody sends me links. Oh, thank you for the rose, babe. Yeah, but yeah. One sphere done tonight. Some rings used up. Found a way to expand this necklace. Taking a break from the giant inlay I'm working on. Life is good. Alright. Except for allergies. Oh, man. Oh my goodness. You cache your Twitch? You mean you crash your Twitch to try and send me a link? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was wrong and gave you bad information. Alright. So, Infinite Fractal, how are you tonight? Thanks for stopping by. Your laptop's not up to the task. Yeah. Mine's not up to the task for a lot of things. And it was an expensive, it was not a cheap laptop. So I've broken down and come to the realization that I am just going to have to build a desktop PC to get all the specifications that I want. So I got 32 gigs of RAM on this laptop, and that's not enough for some of the designs I do. And I saw a PC with 512 gigs of RAM. I was like, that's what I need. I don't need a graphics card. Just a motherboard, keyboard, processor, fan, a bunch of RAM. Yours wasn't cheap to you, but others would consider it very cheap. You know, if you, whatever works. I'll never, ever look at someone's equipment and be like, snobbish. Because I grew up burning my trash in the trailer park, and I, while not an exceptionally humble person, would never, I'm just not that, I'm not that arrogant. So, but I was sure made fun of, and I didn't know why. I didn't know I was poor. The joy of being a kid. It's like, oh, this child is dirty and hasn't showered, and I don't know who's feeding him, and he's running around the neighborhood. It's like, yeah, that was the case. But I wasn't cognitively aware of it. So how are we doing here? This is looking really good, actually. Get them all shined up real good, and then I think this turned out well. So I don't know what the length I want is. I'll have to, where are we at here? We're at 15 inches so far. And I've just added maybe an inch and a half here of material. So don't ask me why I would initially make a 14-inch necklace, but apparently I did, and it fit 20 years ago. So, yeah. There is, okay, so this weave is, if you get the exact right ring size, it can become structural, right? Meaning that you can build with it. And there was one guy a while back who had a bunch of the right size rings while it's a tight collar. Yeah. There's a guy that built pyramids out of captive inverted round. It's crazy. And I think those images were all on the Ringlord forum. If you go to theringlord.com, they used to have a forum. And I went there not too long ago and found out that they don't have the forum anymore. They deleted this 30-year-old resource that had tons of ideas, tons of work. And I mean, I realized that people probably weren't going there because of social media. Just easier to get your info from a Facebook group or something than it was to dig through the forum. But at the same time, it's a 30-year-old resource that has some very irreplaceable information on it. So I was beyond pissed when I found out they had done that. Right? It's like the guy emailed me, customer service, and was all, yeah, the forum's no longer there. We took it down. I just wanted to be like, well, put it back. Put it back right now. Like, I understand that you pay for the servers for the information to be on, but it's not yours. So, whoever owns Ringlord right now, I could never. I'll never forgive you. I'm sure they don't care. They're multimillionaires. They don't give a shit about one man's opinion. You use the forum from time to time. You like to avoid talking to people if you can. Well, not only that. right? But like people bemoan the loss of the Library of Alexandria, right? Nobody knows exactly what was in it, but you'd think that all of human knowledge was, in the library. And it was just the most devastating thing to history ever to happen. I don't actually think that's the case. But that's how I feel about losing the forum. It's just like, why? I don't understand it. I don't understand getting rid of it. Blew my mind when I found that out. Ooh, look at that. I could have made a Byzantine. Some Byzantine with this. Definitely not a lot. Not enough for, well, maybe a bracelet. With it. I don't have many rings of this 20 gauge 1/8, but what time is it? Ooh, 9:30. Come on. I too like to avoid talking to people if I can. But occasionally I do have to leave my house and go and be around people. But I tell you what, hopping on the Harley and going for a ride last night, and it was just, I took my son out for a little ride around the block, but then I dropped him off at home and took off for maybe an hour. It's nice cool weather, not too windy, 65 degrees, it was perfect. It was so nice just to be out, just riding, going wherever, not having any goal of where I'm going in mind. So we got some new neighbors, and they like to come over and chat. And they're nice people and stuff. I'm just not a social person. So I mentioned last night on stream that my mom passed away like last night this morning 4 years ago in Israel, and I have no idea if the building she passed away in is still standing. I was thinking about that. Then I was trying to think about like what happened next, what do we do next, and it's all just kind of a blur. But the next major thing to happen after she passed, I was on my way home from her house, which is down in central Illinois, and I was on my way back up, and I hit a deer. Oh. Fortunately, I was able to get that fixed, and I lived through 2019. It's all well and good now. You were working on installing your heated seats in the Jeep, bought the inserts 2 years ago, just now got around to it. Just need to run them to power. There you go. I have a tail light that my father-in-law got me for my truck long time ago. It's like a turn signal that runs along the rear bumper, and I never put it on. So I would like to just throw it on the truck. But I don't know why I never did. I just never did. Oh. So I'm waiting. I gotta 2011 F-150. And the rack and pinion in the steering wheel is going bad, so it always grips whenever you're turning left. But it's not bad enough to fix. It's just annoying. And then the rear window defroster doesn't work. And I'm okay with that. Getting that fixed is a bit expensive. So I'll just live without a rear defroster for right now. The slideshow stopped, huh? Alright. Should be working now. There you go. I need to add some more images to that slideshow. And I need to make another one that pops up with let's see here, like a little sign that pops up on screen that says follow or like or share, you know. Alright. I'm enthralled with the fact that I have these rings and I can use them to lengthen this necklace. I think that's awesome. But I want to find out if I can make some Turkish round mail. So Turkish round mail is like one set of 3 rings is round mail and the next is inverted round mail. And then it's round mail again and inverted round mail, right? It's just back and forth. And it creates this cool little weave. So how far do we get? We are at, that's 16 inches. It hangs down. It's not terrible, but we'll probably make this like, necklaces need to be like 2.5 feet. Okay. If you're making fine jewelry and you've got your target audience is women, you can get away with shorter necklaces. Minimum, I'd say though, like 20 inches. Alright. Let's just make a random thing here. See if this works. Big pliers. Do I remember how to start this? I think so. So the bigger rings make the round mail portion and the little rings make the inverted round mail portion. And you make a couple of these 2x1 chains. I think that's how it goes. We'll find out here real quick. Alright, I need to update the slideshow with all the projects I finished. Yeah. I need to be better at updating stuff and photography. Alright, so looking at this, looks like the start to a strip of European 4-in-1, but if you set it like that and connect it over here, that's how you start Turkish round mail. And then these rings go out. And it's going to be, I think it's going to work, but it's going to be kind of sloppy. We'll just see if we can make a little chain. And then we'll probably just... It's not a finished enough product to put on the landing, next to the landing, the window ledge. We'll see. We'll see how large we can make this. Karina followed the host. Thank you for the follow. You don't have to take shots of your stuff. We were not close together. You have a macro. You could have taken up close, high detailed shots. Well, thank you for the offer. I'm terrible at photography, and I'm terrible at making videos. So I'm good at one thing in life, and that's chainmail. And I'm okay at best. All right, so I was going to say that what ring size? 18 gauge 3/16 and 18 gauge 5/32 make a killer Turkish round mail. It looks good. And then 20 gauge 1/8 and 20 gauge 3/32 makes another really good Turkish round mail size. Yeah, I do have some. I have a CD upstairs with a bunch of photographs, some that I paid for to have done, of a bunch of the stuff you see in the slideshow. And on my old computer, I had a CD drive. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm not, but I probably am. I still have my old laptop. It worked the last time I checked. I bet that CD drive still works, and I could open it up and save all those files to a USB and transfer them over to here. Someone remind me to try that tomorrow, because I'll forget, for one. But I have that CD upstairs next to where I sit usually. And so it's been sitting there for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna try. Is there enough room in here? No. What about in there? I'm gonna try and put a capture in here. Took 2 years of photography in high school, and you were teaching assistant in the photography class after that. When tomorrow? Oh, I mean, whatever. That, the CD, I'm trying to think of how long the CD's been sitting there. It's like I left it on the table next to where I chill out when I'm upstairs, and I'm just now realizing, like, I was going to take it to a Kinko's or something and have them transfer it to a USB for me. I don't know if Kinko's does that. I think they do. So I'm throwing a ring into this, the round mail portion. Trying to get it in there. I think it'll fit. So Turkish round mail is just the back and forth of round mail and inverted round mail. Right? And I couldn't get a ring. There's not enough room in the inverted portion of this to throw a ring. But in the... Okay. We can probably fit 2 rings in there. That'll be cool. That'll be kind of neat. Steph Ireland followed the host. Thank you for the follow. You can, if you could send me a reminder, I mean, that'd be great. TikTok, Instagram, it don't matter. I do a TikTok because I'm not ever on Instagram. Can't stand the platform, so. Literally the only platforms, I try to avoid meta platforms at all costs anymore. Come on. Oh yeah. Alright. 2. It's going to fit. Doesn't make sense that 2 wouldn't fit. There we go. Throw this last ring in there, and then I'll show you what I've done. So, let me go over to TikTok here real quick. On the end here, in this round mail portion, right? Big rings are round mail. Little rings down here are inverted round mail. I put 2 rings just to, I don't know, try to make this a little different. I'll add 2 more up here as well as we expand this. We don't have a ton of rings. I appreciate it, man. So, if I can make enough units of this to go around, I would, but I don't. I do not have enough rings for that, so this is just going to be a fun piece. Actually, I have some pieces that I just throw in the tumbler every time I polish stainless steel. Stainless steel is generally pretty good about polishing itself. So when it's rolling around in the tumbler and all the pieces are just rubbing against each other, I've got a few pieces that are similar to this that I just throw in there just to help the polishing process. So maybe that's what will become of this. For square wire, that doesn't look too bad. How many rings do we have left here? We're getting low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can do one more section, I think. So I'm always careful to never really mix square wire and round wire rings. I've never done it. I think I've seen other people do it. I think it looks... I've never seen it done well, let me put it that way. Where I thought, oh, okay, that looks good. In my opinion, is pretty meaningless. It's not the end-all, be-all of anything. It's just what I think. But it might look good in here. Where the captured rings were, if they were round, that might look okay. Alright, this song comes on at least once a night. I don't know how to shut it off. Get out of here. You bad song. This would make a cool wallet chain. I think that's probably a bit thick for a wallet chain. But it would not be the end of the world if you made a wallet chain out of this. Come on. That is what this would be good for. The captures don't seem to make it any looser. One thing that a lot of people have problems with is closing off the ends of round mail, Turkish round mail, and captive inverted round mail. And it's all kind of like, I get why people have trouble. Excuse me. for this one, I'm just gonna close off these two. Or weave these two of the rings, because this is 3 rings per section, right? So I'm going to weave 2 of them through the other ring, right? And that just stops it from expanding. Okay, and then we'll adjust this up here real quick. And who knows, this might be a nice it might be a nice keychain. My back, my neck. Okay, where's the opening? Oh, there it is. Sometimes on socket rings, you close them so good, the opening just becomes invisible. Oh, by the way, shield print is on pause so you can get more black filament. Right on. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool project. Jeep and Jammer's doing a Hylian shield on a 3D printer. And we both love Zelda. So he's making a Hylian shield, and I think that's really cool. I should do a Hylian shield inlay. I think I've said that before. Let's see if I can survive this Finnegan's Wake inlay first. Oh, you know what? Here's a crazy thing. That smaller one you showed earlier that looks like your logo would make a nice keychain. Yeah, I've made keychains out of that before. It does pretty good. I was going to say, okay, so this giant inlay, that was, I started because I enjoyed a bar in Alexandria, Louisiana, right? I went and looked, and guess what? The bar Finnegan's Wake on 14th Street in Jackson in Alexandria, Louisiana, is closed. So, shocker, I know. Let's do this. Just close off this end and then we'll have ourselves a little doodad here. So I was looking for an image of the design on the inlay. I was looking for an image of that, and needless to say, I did not find it. I found out that the bar is closed, so now I'm sad. You said it before and you can say it again. Oh no. So it makes me wonder what happened. But in good news, we have a bar here called The Garage, and it burned down. And the last thing I heard was that it was permanently closed, but that's not the case. The case is that they have reopened with like a few hours available. And oh, I see. So it's a good place. They have, I forget what it's called. It's a duck gravy over fries. Duck fat gravy over fries, and it's really good. And it's not a chain restaurant, you know. I don't have anything against Chili's or Applebee's or anything, but it's like I've eaten there. I've done the thing there, you know. Ah. So Finnegan's Wake is closed and the garage is open, and that's life is good. And soon I will have fries covered in duck fat gravy that I forget what it's called. Oh, it makes the inlay memorabilia. Yeah, it'll be cool. Alright. That's kind of cool. We might put a trigger clasp on there on one end and then hang something from the other. I don't know. I don't think I have any beads this large. But that'd be a cute little keychain. If I had, you know, the right rings. But we now know that Turkish round mail can be made from those two different ring sizes. So, oh, wait a minute. Are you even doing chainmail if your pliers don't slip and you hit yourself? 100%, you were not. I just pulled that out of there. Yeah. Alright, now we have fewer rings to put back into the junk jar. That's where these were. Like I was looking and dumped the junk jar out and found I had all these rings that I was like, why are these in here? I don't understand. Let me try and use some of them up. Some of them have places they can be. So, alright. If you've been hanging out watching, let's turn this around. Look at my remote. If you've been hanging out watching, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where you can find all of the chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. Here's an example. I don't have any hoodies up at the moment, but I do have a lot of other stuff that fabric with chainmail printed on it. So please go to my link tree, check out my store. And if you're interested in learning how to make chainmail, there is an app for Google and Apple in the link tree that has a bunch of resources for people who are just beginning, veteran chainmail artists, and people who just want to have a list of all the resources I'm aware of that I can put on there, right? Some resources, there's a scale mail website that you can design your scale mail pieces, and I can't contact the owner. I've tried emailing. I can't get a hold of the owner. So obviously I can't put that as a resource on my site. But there are a few other sites I'm going to add to it, and it's just to help people learn, you know, how to make chainmail, how to get started, where all the people who make chainmail are. It's lots of fun, and there's a place to ask questions on there as well. So if you're interested in learning, please check that out. And in the meantime, it's 10 o'clock. I've got some more stuff I got to do. But check out what we made tonight. Right? Glow-in-the-dark BBs are filling this strip of E4-in-1 and this contracting, or the strip of interwoven 4-in-1. That's what that weave is called. And the contracting European 4-in-1. Right? And then we got a little work done on this necklace here. Right? Little work done there at the end. And this, right? I don't see if I can see the rings right in there. Those two rings right there. Right? Made a little Turkish round mail capture thingamajig. So, a lot of stuff done. Got more stuff to add to the collection now. And like I said, if you're looking to learn how to make something like this, go check out the app in my link tree. Please check out mailworks.com for all your chainmail themed apparel and accessory needs. And buy something, help support the channel. I will see you guys later. I don't know when I'm going to be back on next, but you guys all have a wonderful evening. All right. Are you even doing chainmail if your pliers don't slip and stay? No. Nice, yeah, nice short keychain. I might throw that on something. If it was all machine cut or all saw cut, I would, put a trigger clasp on one end and then I could find I have a bead or something. Oh, that reminds me. I want to make a monkey fist out of chainmail. That'd be fun. I'll have to figure out how to do that. In the meantime, I've got to get all these rings. Let me see here. I'm going to put all these rings back into this jar. So, wish me luck. So, yeah. If you shoot me a message, I'll be greatly appreciative when tomorrow. Because I think all I have to do is just charge the laptop. I have another battery that's never been used. Throw that in there. Get rid of the old battery. It's a 20-year-old laptop, so, but it does have a CD player on it, and I can use that to transfer all the high-res images to a USB, and then put it on this computer, and then put them on the internet, and in my slideshow. So hopefully. Remind me, I will try and get that done tomorrow. So, wax seal it. That's a good idea. Well, I mean, I want access to the rings. I don't have I have another baggie somewhere, but I think these are like 20 gauge 1/8 machine cut, or hand cut, I believe. So, anyway, I want them associated with this jar, and then I'm probably going to wrap the jar with them. We'll make some elf weave with them. It'll be cool. It'll be fun. Super cute.